Good morning. Video on my front hinge canopy system, as per request. I would say by looking at my canopy, for those asking on the angle, it looks like it comes up to about a 75, possibly 80-degree angle. That's where I wanted it to go. So it doesn't go to a full 90. It could. It's limited by the gas struts. So you dictate the height it can go with the gas struts. I can't read the pounds, the pressure on these struts. The last ones I replaced were 150 pounds per side. So I mentioned 220 pounds. That might be a bit high. They're probably either 170 or 180 per side. My outer skin on my canopy is made of carbon fiber. For weight, it's actually quite a light canopy. What I really like about the springs that are on it, the struts that is it kind of gives it a real neutral pressure for probably, let's see, from about there. Now if I pull it down any further than that, it'll drop down. The springs will it drops down nice and easy, but it won't sustain it. So from there to probably there, anywhere in that range, the struts will sustain where you put it. And if you go past here, it goes up. Nice and easy. My latching system is I took two rotary handles off the Berkut and just did the same latching system as the Berkut does. You can see on here that there's a lock nut on there so you can adjust the depth that the post goes into, so you can adjust how tight the canopy gets. When you lock the canopy, you rotate it forward, it's in the locked position. It pulls it down and tightens it when you do that. I really wanted to keep everything as simple as possible. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so I just used existing technology. I prefer it. I've actually designed it to where when I sit in it, that knob pokes me right in the shoulder. There's no way you don't notice that poking you in the shoulder. I rotate it forward, it doesn't poke me in the shoulder anymore, and I know the canopy is latched. So I built the outer shell out of carbon fiber, and I scraped all the foam from the inside in this area right here, all the way about halfway up to where this handle's at. So this was scraped bare. I ended up putting these two bolts, they're embedded in aviation plywood like your firewall, and floxed in there, so these are embedded into place. I then floxed the block of wood to the outer shell on the carbon fiber. I then made ribs for stiffness out of foam and carbon fiber on the sides, and I ran the ribs from there up. I ran two ribs across. One was straight across. I angled one from here down. There's one from here, I angled this way. So I made a few triangles. I made this rib system so that the ribs would be connected to the block of wood. I then did several layups over the block of wood and to spread the energy so it would be attached to the rest of the canopy. Before that, of course, I had to fill the rib system in. I just used expanding foam, filled in the ribs, sanded it flush, and then I laid glass on the inside. I didn't do carbon on the inside, I did do glass. But it's extremely light and extremely rigid, which is really nice. Because you lose some of the rigidity, because without the whole back turtle shell, you only have that one hoop going over the top right there. It does move around a little bit. You know, you can wiggle it a little bit when it's up. Not much, but you get it down and it's locked rock solid into place. There is zero play in this canopy. Another beautiful thing that I really like about it is if you watch the hinge, not the hinge, but watch the canopy as I open it up, is it goes up. It doesn't go forward, it goes up, 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 and then it starts rotating forward. So when it comes down, and then sinks flush. So it makes, you can have a very tight line there. Now, as far as the hinges themselves, so people talked about cutting off a little piece of the hinge. I decided to just make these little indentations here. So there's like 5 layers of glass on the front of that. That would theoretically weaken your F22. But your canard pin goes right here. So I really reinforced from here out to the outside. The inside here doesn't really have a huge structural job. Once you get past here, because holding the canard is really its main structural job, other than, you know, some structural stress piece over here. But I went ahead and put an angle in here and put a bottom lip. If you can see that, it's probably about 1 inch. And I wrapped it around. It gave it that nice L shape. And obviously I layered a bunch more product in the where I have the grooves here. It's rock solid now. I mean, a regular F22, I mean, you can move it with your hands, you know, forward and backwards, a little bit of flex there. That thing does not move. This thing is a rock. So I have them covered up, unfortunately. So basically, these things are bolted to 3 layers of plywood that are floxed together and then glassed around them. And they're connected between the F22 and I believe it's 28 here. I don't have my plans handy. It's been a while since I've been measuring that. So let me see if I can get you any good video here. So I put a little carbon in there. I regret doing it. I just had some and thought I was being cute. I would just use glass. Anyway, so it's glass between the 2 major bulkheads. And then what you can't see also is right here, there's another rib right here that I brought in here to give it rigidness this way. So there's a rib here that connects to those pieces of wood also. It's extremely strong. I mean, you probably lift the plane by those 2 pieces. So yeah, so the hinges have 2 bolts that go in sideways. When I did this, I put I took the struts off, closed the hinges, bolted it to the canopy, and set it in place. And after I did that, I measured, I marked where the holes should be in the wood, and then drilled the holes in those positions to bolt the canopy to have it lined up real nice with the wood. I believe the hole on the back there is slightly slotted, so you can actually untighten that bolt and move the hinge up and down for adjustment. But I haven't had to do that. It seems to fit really good. I have lost some panel space. On this side, I put my flush-mounted Garmin. On this side, which would be right here, I haven't put anything, but I have lost that space and this space. So that is the downside to the front hinge canopy. The safety factor is better, in my opinion. The ease for both sides to get in and out is significantly improved. I mean, when I sit on the strake and swing my legs over, I have all the room in the world. I have the benefit of having a 6-inch wider airplane, which allows me to have my switches in the center console, which I know you couldn't get away with in a regular sized cozy. So, and I have steam gauges that are taking up way more room than if I had a glass panel. and maybe someday I will go to glass, but right now I kind of enjoy the steam gauges. I do have my iPad with floor flight and the synthetic vision. So I have a kind of a hybrid panel. I'm not really sure what else anybody would like to know about it, but it's really easy you sit in it, you can lift it easy, you can pull it down easy. The struts, or the pressure I have in them, very neutral. So it's not pulling it down or slamming it shut because it's not balanced. So it's really nice to use. It looks good. It works good. I'm glad I don't have the hinges sticking out the one side. It's not aesthetically pretty. And I know it makes it so you have to climb over the pilot seat to get into the passenger seat. I do have a separate hatchback here. I kind of wish I would have just put stronger struts on this and extended it back just so I only had one opening to deal with instead of two, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. Anyway, there you go. Thank you.